So Harlem Eubank recently just easily beat Josh Wagner in a fight where, honestly, neither guy really got out of second or third gear, if I'm being honest. I think Harlem Eubank was pretty comfortable throughout that fight. Josh didn't really force him to work or give him a ton of different looks or make him, think or have to work that hard. Harlem Eubank was able to, really nicely shoot that jab to the head and to the body. Honestly, he looked like he's learned a lot from that Jack Catterall loss. He remained athletic the same way, he always is. He's very athletic, but really worked that jab a lot more. Against Jack Catterall, he didn't work that jab at all, and preferred to, from early on in the fight, resorted to pot shotting and winging in his punches. He didn't do that against Josh Wagner at all. He, like I said, he was a lot more measured, a lot more patient, a lot more disciplined. Showed a lot more higher boxing IQ where, if my jab is landing to the body, to the head, and I'm not taking a ton of damage, let's just do that. And he just kept winning those rounds. And he got through the fight pretty comfortably, in my opinion. It was a good performance from Harlem Eubank, to be honest. Like I said, I was really impressed to sort of... And again, Josh Wagner's not a super high-level opponent. He's not. But to see Harlem Eubank sort of take those lessons from the Jack Catterall loss is promising for me, because that's actually something that Chris Eubank Jr. never was able to do. He was never able to sort of develop his style and learn from those losses. Like, you would think Chris Eubank Jr., after he loses to Billy Joe Saunders and George Groves, he would maybe try and change his style up a bit more. He didn't, right? And that's why he's always going to be beatable. And Harlem Eubank is still a beatable boxer, but the fact that he's showing that evolution, right, where, like I said, in that Jack Catterall fight, he didn't use his jab at all. Now, again, how much of that is Jack Catterall is a moving opponent and he's feinting and outboxing you, so it's hard for you to even shoot that jab. Whereas Josh Wagner's a lot more, stuck in the mud. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but the word where you're not moving about as much, right? It's a lot more of an isolated opponent where, he's not moving about as much. He moved about a bit, to be fair. But Harlem Eubank did a very good job at cutting off the ring. And like I said, using that jab to effectively control the fight. It's not easy to do. Again, Josh Wagner's not a super high-level opponent. He's not a world champion. He's not anywhere near that level. And even at 147, which 147 is not a great division at the moment. But Josh Wagner, like I said, nonetheless, is nowhere near that top 10. Harlem Eubank, again, is nowhere near that top 10 himself. But that sort of performance is the sort of performance that, if he could fight some of the top names at 147, I don't think he beats them. But there's something there, right? That's what I'm saying. There's something there. And who knows? Another 3-4 fights, maybe he's looking at fringe world level. And maybe you can work his way into a mandatory shot. Maybe you can even get that Jack Catterall rematch. You never know. There's a lot of options there. And Harlem Eubank fighting again in Brighton, seems to be making a bit of a name for himself down there. He's got a bit of a resume under his belt now. I mean, obviously, the only recognisable name on his record is Jack Catterall, who he lost to and was comprehensively outboxed. But you live and you learn. It was a good performance from Harlem Eubank, really dominating, and probably didn't take a ton of damage in that fight. So who knows? He should be back out there in a couple of months. Hopefully, early 2026, we can see him back out there. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys thought on the fight. Do you think Harlem Eubank could go on to really accomplish something in the welterweight division, or do you think you should just take it one fight at a time and just focus on who's next in front of you and beating them? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.